What's up, y'all? I am 41 today, and it's Saturday, June 14th, and I have yet to do my video for this week. So, better last minute than never, right? Here's a few lessons that I wish I would have known at 21 that I now know at 41. And if you're young, listen up. And if you're my age and you don't know these things, listen up as well. Number one thing I wish I would have known is that time moves so fast once you're an adult. Your life really doesn't begin until you move out of your parents' house. Yes, once you're taking care of yourself, that's really where life starts. The first 5 years that I lived by myself, I learned so much more about life than I did the previous 22 years under my parents' roof. Also, you also gotta consider that the proportion of time that has moved by between years, the percentage, it lowers as you age. When you go from 1 to 2 years old, you live another 100% of your life. When you go from 10 to 11, you live another 10% of your life. When you go from 20 to 21, you live another 5% of your life. And that number keeps getting smaller. I'm 41. From 40 to 41, I just lived another 2.5% of my life. And that percentage is only going down each year. That's why it seems like it's going by faster. It's just that another year is not that much time. Once you understand that, and I wish you would understand it quicker, but the odds of you understand it at that young of an age is low, because I heard the same thing when I was younger and I didn't listen properly. But if you grasp a hold to it and understand that time is not going to go on forever, it'll put some urgency behind things. Number two, I'm numbering it down, but I'm probably not going to end up numbering all these, but you need to understand that the person that takes care of you in the future is you in the present. The decisions that you make now is going to determine if your future you is taken care of. And that goes beyond just money, because that's the first thing we think of is money. But it's also health as well. There's a lot of things that you can do to prepare yourself for the future that you can do now. Let's talk about money for a second. Your credit. If you think that credit cards are for an emergency, then you're thinking about it wrong. If you use credit cards in an emergency, then you're setting yourself up for a monumental debt failure. Save money. There's nothing wrong with credit cards. I finally have, it took me, 10 years before I finally had a credit card, of living by myself before I had a credit card, because I was scared of them. I grew up in a house where my parents had terrible credit, and we suffered multiple evictions, multiple repossessions, plenty of times where the power and water would be cut off. So like it was just in my determination, in my mind, to not have anything happen to me. So I was scared of credit cards, but here's how I use credit cards today. I have an emergency fund where I keep thousands of dollars. I like to have about $10,000 that I can have access to. I have an emergency. I pay off the emergency, like I'll pay off it with the credit card. $800, $1,800, whatever, car repairs, whatever. Pay it off with a credit card, but then I take my emergency fund and use it to pay off the credit card. So I never pay interest. Interest will keep you broke. It will keep you in debt, and it will keep you seeming like you can never get ahead, because it's literally designed for you never to get ahead. Which brings me to number 2, investments. I started late on my Roth IRA, but better late than never. Better later than never, because it's never really too late. I mean, late would be like I'm retiring next year and I just started my Roth IRA. But here I am. It was in my 30s. That Roth IRA with the correct ETFs has, I've been doing, even in this turmoil, I've been doing well over, I think between my 5 ETFs that I have in there, I've been averaging like 12, somewhere between 12 and 13% growth per year, which is really good. So that with basic other savings, and, you know, my own personal brokerage account that I'm going to use to fund from when I retire early to where I can touch my other funds, is going to help me live better, because I'm on pace to retire when I'm 50, and I'm going to have a very awesome retirement. I'll put it that way. So, start investing as soon as you can. If I started investing at 21 or 22, like I said, when I first moved out, I probably wouldn't be working now. Probably would not be working right now. So, your health. I didn't start in the gym really until 3 years ago. 3 years ago, October. I'm seriously in the best shape I've ever been in my adult life at 41. And that's good, but it's also sad because I could have been living better. I could have been living better earlier. And, you know, there's so many things that being in shape does, you know, for your health. And I'm still not in shape. I'm still overweight, but I've came down from when I topped out at 312 pounds. I'm 255 currently, with a pretty big percentage of muscle mass. So, lot better shape. Now, we'll talk about women a little bit. And I've said this in a couple of other videos, but we're living in a day of age where women are in a little bit more delusion, which is actually our fault as men, because we gas them up because we're trying to get on their good side, which is actually the worst way to do it. And you don't learn that until you're older, or you start off as an a-hole and you just notice it works when you're an a-hole. But the best way to deal with women is to focus on yourself first and be the best you can be in the areas you can, and pick out of the women who like you, because women will pick you. Like a lot of women, you've probably heard this term, wait for the guys at the finish line. Not all women are like this. Some of you might end up being fortunate, finding women who, you know, like you for the traits that you have now and that can see your potential. But for most of us, especially the ones that are lower on the attractiveness scale, are not going to see that. That's the reality. The way women look at me now, that I'm in better shape and I have that bulk and the bigger chest and stuff like that, is awesome. I got last week, a week before I turned 41, I got hit on by a couple of 21-year-olds, straight up, and they were good looking. Like, I got hit on by some good looking 21-year-olds, and I was just like, where was this 15 years ago? But I didn't look, and I didn't dress, and I didn't smell the way I do now. So the quicker that you can learn to get in the best shape that you can, dress the best you can. It doesn't necessarily mean you got to dress like you're a cool daddy, but like, find your style a style that you like, that is classy, a little flashy, but is you, and rock with it. And also smelling good, taking care of your personal hygiene is so freaking important, because men, let's face it, in some instances, we just won't bathe. Like, if it wasn't for women, we probably wouldn't even bathe half the time. Some of us, not all of us, but some of us. But it's important to always smell good. It's very powerful when you pass by a woman and she smells you before she knows you with sight. So when she turns, she's like, oh, you smell good. And then she looks you up and down like she already has a positive metric on you. And then she just compounds it in her mind. So, also, I wish I knew that you need to figure out what you want. Now, as far as, like, what is your goal? And act accordingly. I was raised to be a good man. My parents raised me to be a good man. I didn't really turn out to be too much of a good man. For different reasons. But in the end of the day, it's my fault. Determine if you want to be a husband and father early on in life, and act according to that plan. If your plan is to someday be a husband and a father, then start towards that path. Because if you venture, the more you venture off into being a hoe, the harder it is, and the less patience you'll have, and the more unrealistic your expectations will be towards women. And that's kind of where I'm at right now in life. That's my fault. I'm not blaming anybody else. That's my fault. But it's something I did. I had to work really hard because, like, I wasn't as attractive and I wasn't as well dressed in my 20s and 30s. I was really good at my talk game. I was really good at conversating. I was really good at parlaying and politicking. And I was very patient, and I knew how to play mind games, and I knew how to make myself look like a better option than what I was. And so I was able to have a lot of sex. So while that was good, to an extent, it made me have a very unrealistic perception of my expectations of women. And now that I'm past the age where I want children, part of my brain is broken, because the ability for a woman to provide, not only carry your children, but raise them and nurture them, and provide a second, the other half of a positive household for your child, is priceless. And it's the most important thing that women bring to a relationship and to a potential marriage. I don't want children now. That part of my brain is broken. So marriage for me at this point, and let's face it, women are doing that for free. Like, women are doing the most important part. They're having men's kids and raising men's families without the commitment. And then they're just at the man's mercy whether they want to commit or not. And then they have to use their manipulation to get what they want, the providing and the such. And it's this tug of war that really shouldn't be there, that is. And there's so many more. I could talk about that later. I'm gonna get off on that. But the fact that I don't want children anymore has broken me, and the fact that I'm used to not having to deal with women outside of me getting some sex from them, that has broken me. As it's not unrepairable, but it's made it very difficult for my mindset to flow into being a good husband. That's where I'm at in life, and I understand that. So, what else? I should have wrote some of this stuff down, but I did not. Let's see, what have I said so far? Take care of yourself for the future. Health, wealth, dealing with women. Knowing the balance of fun now versus fun later. There's a lot of things that you can have fun now that is going to take away from fun you can have down the road, and vice versa. And learning to find the balance that works for you is very important. I was able to save for a couple of years before I turned 40, and I was able to spend like $20,000 on vacations. In my 40th year of life, I took 8 vacations during the year that I was 40, and that felt really fun. It took away from some of my future fun, and it also took away some of my past fun when I was saving before I turned 40. But it's what I wanted, and it's what I worked for, and I enjoyed myself, and I'm glad I had that experience. And it's also created a hunger. It's created a hunger for me to maintain that. Like, that did something to me. Vacationing, like 6 of those vacations, 6 out of those 8 vacations was month after month after month of having a vacation once a month, a good vacation. And it is that experience has unlocked a hunger, and I'm just going to simply have to make more money to experience that again. And it's made me want more in life. So that was a very positive thing overall, because I think that I'm going to force myself to reach a new level of life faster. So just keep that in mind, fellas. There's not too much I can say, and I could ramble on, and I could probably come up with a lot of other things, but I hope that as a young man, at least something I said will make you a better man than me. And that's something even the young men that look up to me and they think that I'm cool or whatever, because I am cool. I'm a cool dude. I ain't gonna lie. But they look up to me, and they see the women interact with me. They see the looks that I get. They see me going on vacations, and they look up to that. And I want younger men to, and I want you, if you're a younger man, you're watching me, I want you to be better than me. I want you to be better than I am. So, anyway, Uncle Stepbro out. If you have any comments or questions, leave them. Peace.